Do it.
Hello, everybody. We are so glad you could make it, and we're so glad that we could play.
I almost stepped on his toes there.
You should have.
No.
Mahi's thunder is gone. Give the thunder to Python.
Where it belongs.
Right.
Oh no!
Oop.
Mahi has no thunder. He has.
What are you
red
doing,
eyes.
Callie? What are you doing?
Me?
Yes.
That noise is not me.
That's a DM.
Sean.
Oh my god.
I have one of those bag clips.
I was like, for once, the person being fidgety is not me.
I've got one of those bag clips that I'm just like using as a fidget thingy.
I was like trying to watch the names to see who was lighting up, and like yours kept lighting up at the same time.
Alright, I'm gonna have to put this away, like far away, because I know myself. I will.
Throw it across the room.
I will mess with
Chuck it.
You will
Chuck
fidget it.
Chuck it. If I don't hear a sound in the background, then we can't trust you.
I'm gonna get to a real serious part. Python's gonna unveil all her backstory, and then
That would follow her luck.
Alrighty, guys. Let's do my intro. Where'd it be? Because no one remembers what we did. Nobody takes notes.
I take notes.
I have keen mind. I don't need to take
I
notes.
have 12 pages of notes. I don't take notes my ass.
Tor
I
knows,
have
but
been
Alex doesn't.
documenting every
No,
single
but
one
Tor
of
can
our
just
things.
ask.
See,
Sure.
how many episodes do I have documented? I think I have up to 4.0. No, 5.0. All the way. So through 0.5 to 5, I have wrote a summary for each. I'm going through them all, and it sucks. Some of our episodes, we don't do anything. Like, we just role play, and I'm just like, summary. We went shopping and found some items.
Well, that
It's like,
that's something, though.
it's something, but
Recap.
it's not. Yes.
Recap.
As we find our adventurers in the midst of unraveling a plot, Python storms out of the inn annoyed with their recent addition to the group and his precious line of questioning while the rest of the group debate on their next move. Python wanders the square, finding herself alone in the crowd, trying to seek what solace she can. As she spies an elderly elven woman nearby the shrine of Tamora and approaches the mysterious figure. However, she fumbles with attempting to hide her amulet in the midst of the crowd that would most likely implicate her to potentially another cleric, who she suspects might be attending the shrine, which causes said amulet to roll into the previous crowd of people in an open display out for everyone to see. Hyphen quickly scoops up her precious keepsake and mends the broken chain, sighing in relief that no one seemed to have noticed, at least from her perspective. She then exchanges a few cryptic words with the cleric at the shrine, before investigating the commotion at the other end of the square. Meanwhile, Tavi, Tor, and Mahi proceed to leave the inn and decide to finish up some of their own shopping down at Barthen's Provisions. With shopping list in hand, Tor begins the overwhelming task of ordering from the simple-minded store owner, while Tavith and Mahi attempts their own shopping with the two inept teenage clerks. Eventually, the small group were able to claim and purchase their prizes, but not without some very frustrating attempts at Fendelin's version of customer service. Back at the inn, Angelo paces back and forth, reflecting on the information he has so far discovered, but to his dismay is mostly useless. He is no closer to solving the puzzle than when he first arrived, and his hopes that the group would be able to assist him have quickly convinced him otherwise. On the other side of town, Pite discovers the commotion that she saw previously was coming from a small makeshift market stall. Has been temporarily set up in town with none other than Vigo, the tiefling merchant, as that they met previously on the Tribord Trail. He was busy trying to sell what looked like generic daggers to some of the passing by, one of which looked very tempted, but with a quick whisper from Python decided against spending all of their family fortune. Vigo attempts to use his salesmanship toward Pipe, make up for the lost customer, but Pipe quickly dismisses him, heads towards the Townmaster Hall, and have a discussion with Sildar. Sildar, unexpectedly but eagerly taking advantage of the break, entertains Pyth through some small talk, to which Pyth would have rather preferred straighter answers. She quickly deflects in any personal questions concerning her brother at the time, but was able to get out of Sildar a few bits of information pertaining to Corlin's motivations. Not knowing Corlin personally, but rather having Corlin assigned to the investigation by his superiors from the Lord's Alliance, Sildar has his suspicions, especially considering Corlin and Glassstaff knew each other from Candlekeep. However, Sildar trusts the Alliance and explains Corlin was vetted before arriving, and beyond a coincidence, there was no reason to suspect he was involved in any of the previous Red Brand plot. Corlin was at Candlekeep at the time of Glassstaff's betrayal. It was only after they lost contact with the party that Corlin, via association, Angelo, was brought in to help with the investigation by the Alliance. Now, eventually, the rest of the group does meet up at the Townmaster Hall with their own request. Mahi writes a letter he asks Sildar to help deliver to Helm's Hold, and Tor takes advantage of learning from what little knowledge the town holds in the form of their elaborate bookshelves within the office, being the only sense of a library. Tavith and Pythavin having a quick conversation concerning Vigo, and Tavith's need to complete his own personal quest. Now, Angelo leaves the inn. He joins the others in hope of speaking to Corlin, and is told by Sildar that Corlin actually mentioned he did need to speak with him before they departed, which has Pythavin uneasy, since no one can confirm where Corlin's current whereabouts. Angelo, noticing Tor's interest in the books, decides to involve himself in his own study, specifically looking for information of a particular divine subject matter. The party takes their leave for now from Sildar, finds another commotion awaiting them outside in the center of the town square. Vigo, apparently entertaining the said crowd as means of driving more customers his way. And as some of the party members watch, Mahi and Angelo's attentions are drawn elsewhere. Mahi being approached by the previously elderly elven sister. And this is, I wanted to confirm this real quick, because I think I have mispronounced her name every time I have freaking said it. So, hold on. I want to try to make this canon what it's supposed to be. Garel. Yeah, Garel. Okay. It's Sister Garel. That's what we're going to start going with. So,
How do you spell that? That's not what I have.
Aele.
I'm saying Garrily.
I think I was saying Garrily before, yeah. But we're going to call her Garel, because apparently that's what Garel, how to pronounce.com says. It is. And she's kind of old and crotchety, so I think the name fits better. Mm-hmm. So yes, so now we're retconning that. Sister Garel. Crap, now I lost my place. Alright, so Mahi is approached by Sister Garel, who seems to remember Mahi from a previous White Dragon attack, and although Mahi has no memory of said events after he was knocked unconscious, seems generally concerned for his well-being and alluded to taking better care of himself, or else maybe she might not be around to help. As enigmatic as that is, the crowd disperses nonetheless, and Vigo takes his place at the market stall awaiting more customers. Now Tavith approaches with the intent to earn his well-deserved reward. Despite Vigo's salesmanship, however, Tavith was determined to accomplish his task, and taking hold of Vigo's horns ultimately persuades the tiefling to take his business somewhere else. Plot twist. That is true, actually. We do gain an hour, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yep, thank you for telling me that, because I need to know that for tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. In game and out of game. Then you guys can try to maintain the extra weeks that you guys lost. Yes. Vigo, disappointingly, but feeling his time in Phandalin has served its purpose, decides to go ahead and move on, bids the party farewell. Meanwhile, outside of the rest of the party's notice, Angelo spies a sneaky halfling that has been lingering intently watching the party, specifically from a hidden vantage point nearby the inn. As Angelo attempts to confront said halfling, quickly flees the scene, giving Angelo chase around the back alleys, until he eventually loses track of the halfling near the Sleeping Giant Inn. Tavern. Upon the further inspection, however, Angelo notices the halfling tracks immediately precede a much larger track that happens to lead into a nearby tavern. Angelo then enters, and then persuades the grisly bartender to point out the most recent individual that just entered in, which happens to be a large half-orc in the corner, currently watching the outside window. Angelo approaches the half-orc, catching him off guard, questions him about what Angelo has deduced is some type of shape-shifting ability, which after realizing he was caught, the half-orc does show the example. Angelo then takes this information, in turn poses no ill will towards the half-orc, but he takes his leave to find the rest of the group. The rest of the group adjourn to the inn, where Python tells the group of what she's learned about her brother and intends to persuade the group in her suspicions, which is vehemently denied by Tor. And to a lesser extent, Pavith, whereas Mahi agrees with Python for the moment, although for different reasonings, and thus the group is somewhat split on their opinions. As the group debates the issue further, Angelo does attempt to search the town square, but determining they must have retired to the inn, he begins to make his way there when he is also stopped by Sister
Girl.
Barely.
Sister.
Sister G?
I'm just gonna give her a new freaking name.
Sis G.
Sis G.
Get
My
for
G
using-
over here.
for using pre-generated characters. To be fair, though, she's different than the way she's portrayed in the campaign. When he questions her about any knowledge she may have on Talos being a cleric herself, she does warn him to watch out for any of those cultists, and then offers a very enigmatic clue on someone she knows who might be able to help Angelo find some direction. A druid friend named Radoth, who lives up north in the ruins of Thunder Tree. Angelo, being suspicious of the cleric's intentions, curious at how she could discern anything about his current mystery, but takes the information nonetheless for what it is, heads over to the inn, and potentially meet up with the rest of the party. And there we go, my friends. That was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, didn't we have that double back-to-back nights in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, so that was like a combination, I think, of the whole thing.
Good job.
there
That's
we
a
go.
record. It took you 15 minutes.
Ah, yeah. Usually our recaps we don't do that much.
So if I remember correctly, Tavith and Mahi actually left and went down to the bar area because Pyth had a private word with Tor, and then Tor left to go to her room, and Pyth stayed in her room.
At this juncture, yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Unless anyone wants to change their mind, because we were kind of going back and forth. And
Nope, I'm still heading down to the bar.
all right, Tavith and Mahi is at the bar. It is, and where we're at, it was not late evening, but early evening. The sun had just
I thought it was
go down.
late evening.
Not super late. The sun was going down as Angelo was kind of tracking the people. You guys had went to the inn, but it was still kind of the twilighty time, and so we're only probably maybe an hour into it. So I'm figuring it's going to be around 8 o'clock ish at this point.
Okay.
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 Still significant times to get some things done. Roleplay or otherwise.
Angelo walks in.
Disgusting.
By the way,
watch your mouth.
Python, where you are still in your room alone, can you roll a perception check for me?
That's not foreshadowing anything bad at all. You are in your room alone.
If I'm not mistaken, I technically did this already, but I just given
You get a second chance at life.
a chance to.
15. So my passive.
Okay. Okay.
I don't like that.
Good to know.
Good to know.
I
Yeah.
said okay. I said no.
Good to know means, oh, man, they barely. Dang it.
Good to know means that's how I'm gonna kill them later. Well, that sucks for them.
No, man. Big rip.
Sorry, Pyth.
Get assassinated.
Liam was actually telling the truth.
When I walk in, who's all in like the whole bar and like seating area?
Mahi's sitting at the bar. He's just sitting there. If he would give him another grog, the bartenders probably gave him a grog or something. He's just sitting on it.
And Toffee's there sitting with him.
Okay. Are there any other people, Mr. DM?
No, it is less lively this evening. So far, you guys are the only patrons at the moment.
Okay. I'm gonna limp in and I'm gonna go pop a squat next to Mahi.
Maya just kind of looks and just kind of nods and drinks again.
Get a motion for the bartender dude. Forgot his name. Friggin' like Toblin.
No. He's not there at the moment, actually.
Oh, frick. Angel goes to motion, but then there's nobody, and he's like, ah, dang it.
Is it Elsa that's there? Elsa there?
No. Nope, for the most part, it's pretty empty right now. Just you guys.
He goes to motion and there's nobody there. He's motioning.
You're like,
wait, hold
I'm in.
on. Oh,
He's like looking around.
Like, oh,
wait
crap.
a second.
This is kind of awkward. I wouldn't have sat down. Shoot. Frantically looking around.
So much for your perception.
Yeah, can I see if I can find them?
Find any staff.
Yeah, he's
Any
looking around.
staff member at all?
No, nobody is around in your immediate vicinity. No.
That's kind of sus.
So wait, it's just the three of us at the bar sitting down, like waiting for someone to serve us.
Yeah. at
Yeah.
the moment.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna look at Angelo, be like, an eye, with my eyes, like you wanna
Look at him with your eyes? What else were you
I mean,
gonna look at him with?
no motion with my eyes, like towards the where the drinks would be.
What?
What?
No.
He's like looking at
Grab our own
you.
drink?
No.
Can we just grab our own drink?
Mr. Goliath. No.
Why not?
Because that is what do you call it? Illegal.
Stealing.
Oh, stealing. I did not know that you were against that, paladin. Considering you let the cleric get away with that earlier.
Well, we could leave our money afterwards, right?
Maya just shrugs and keeps drinking.
Like,
Where did Maki get the
how did
drink?
how did you get your drink, Maki?
There's no bar. You don't have a drink, Mahi. There's no staff.
I said I assume I would get a drink. It's like he was
It
giving
materialized.
Me, if he
You
wasn't
can't
there-
assume
It
because
is
there's no
materialized
staff.
the drink out of thin air, like
You don't have a drink. I'm sorry.
Okay, then I don't have a drink. I'm just sitting there waiting for him to come back.
Is there like a little thing to lift up, the doorway thing to lift up on the counter to get to the back? I mean, behind the counter, Sean?
Well, you have the bar area, which mostly has a lot of the essentials when it comes to the kegs and the glasses and bottles and things of that nature. The door to the right of that is an open doorway that goes into the kitchen area.
I have to hop over the.
No, I mean
Bar.
there's a walkway between the it's on the other side of the counter.
Okay,
so.
I want to go on the other side of the counter.
Tavis, I would
Right.
prefer if you don't, because
You guys want drinks, right?
yes, but I want to be in the good graces of this tavern owner, and if we
We've-
steal his drinks,
We're
probably
not
not
stealing.
gonna get
We're
any.
not stealing anyone's drink. I'm gonna go serve you guys drinks, and we're gonna
Gonna-
pay me
don't
and I'm
serve
gonna
me
put
a
it-
drink.
what?
in their bucket or whatever.
I'm gonna keep an active lookout for the staff.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna keep going on to the other side of the counter.
All right. So
Look
Tommy
for-
takes his position as bartender at the moment.
Yes,
What's the bartender's name again? I can't pronounce it.
Toblin.
Dublin.
Toblin. Hey, Toblin, are you back there?
There's no response.
Where could it be?
So now Tommy's gonna pick up a glass or a cup and just start faking like he's making a special drink, shaking it back and forth. So what do you guys
kinda watch
have?
Tavi kind of lean under the counter, and he pulls out a couple of glasses, and he kind of holds each one in his hands and bobs them kind of up and down, back and forth, alternating between the two. Go ahead and roll a performance check for me.
You would,
Here. Davi, don't get me a drink. I'll just wait till he comes back.
15.
15. Okay. So you kind of watch as Tavi kind of goes and takes one of the glasses and kind of curls it behind his back and catches it with his other hand in the front, and he kind of pulls off like a Tom Cruise kind of move they saw in a movie once.
Like, sorry guys, I'm in a good mood. I'm gonna get a free, cloak deal from Helene. Or Liline, whatever her stupid name is. But I say that out loud.
I will be back. I am going to go find.
Angelo, no, you don't need to go anywhere. We're here.
Nope. I am going to go
Angelo,
find him.
why?
You pay for that. I will be
Angelo,
back. I
I'm gonna make you a drink right now, Angelo. We're gonna.
do not want to drink. I do not want to drink. I do not. I'm going to go
You were
look.
talking to yourself earlier
good.
like you wanted a drink. There was no one there, and you said,
I
"Hey."
do not. I
waving.
No. I did not. I
We saw you wave to
get
the
out
air.
from the counter. Get out from the kitchen. Come back over here. Get out.
Can I get a drink first?
No. Get out. I will go find Toblin, and he will get us drinks. No, get out.
Are
Shoot.
you gonna buy my drink then? If you find him?
I will buy both of you drinks. No. Come back over here.
Okay, all right. I slowly put everything back down.
I will be back.
out of the counter. If you're not back in 10 minutes, I'm gonna get my own drink.
I walk out and I start looking for Toblin. I'm gonna circle the whole building.
As he's walking, Mahi just goes, Godspeed.
I slap my leg that has the limp.
He's like, oh, right. Oops.
I sit down and I'm like, man, Mahi, what a total square that guy is. I thought he was cool.
Look. To be fair, if Toblin just walks in and sees you getting your own drinks, you're probably not going to get any more than the one that you gave yourself.
Mahi, hold on. How much money have we spent here? You don't think we're one of the top customers?
I don't think we're the top customers.
I mean,
Because we
we've
have
stayed
only
here
been
a
here
couple
for...
nights. We've thrown gold coins at them for tips. I mean, no sense of value for our money here. We just toss it to them.
Well, granted, we've been kind of walking on the edge of their good graces, because one second we annoy the crap out of them, the next second we save their town. So I'd suggest not pushing one way or the other, just...
But I wasn't going to steal it. I said I was going to pay for it at the end. Man,
I
really
still think it's just a respectful thing to do,
Really
just like
killing
hey,
my
Heather
buzz right now. Okay, whatever. You look, you're starting to turn into. I can see the edges forming around your body as a square to Mahi.
Mahi just looks at you. I don't even know. 9 minutes to go.
Thank you. I'm glad you're keeping time. That helps.
I am looking. I am looking. I nod to
I am also, in the
the
meantime,
guard. They pass.
I'm going to, in the meantime, go and look at the door.
And sacrifice someone.
Try to ease the door open and see if I can see what I saw before.
Okay. So you kind of open the door, and you kind of creaks as you kind of look into the hallway. There's no activity. You don't see anybody around. You kind of look left and right. You kind of get down on your knees and look underneath the door frame. At the moment, we don't see anything.
Interesting.
I am looking. I'm looking. It is not a goblin, that is a cat.
So, Angelo, as you kind of circle around the building, as you come to the back and you see some of the rooms, you do notice that one of the rooms is lighted and the shadow passes by.
Oop, gonna check that out.
Do you want to roll stealth or?
Yes.
Okay.
I would like to roll stuff. That's not good. That's not good at all. 11.
Alrighty. Pythavin, as you are currently inspecting your door, all of a sudden you hear kind of a rustling from outside the window.
Oh, please.
I'm going to go.
And a shadowy figure passes by.
Wait, isn't she upstairs?
There's no
It's
stairs.
ground level, yeah.
There's no
Ground level.
stairs.
No, it's
I thought
ground
we
level.
always- I thought we
There's
always went
no
upstairs.
stairs.
There was
Nope.
originally, but now
There was
An
originally,
actual
but now that we know what it
map.
actually looks like, we're kind of
No more
retconning the
signal.
stairs.
I don't think I can do it.
It got a
really
remodel when we
impressive.
came
Yeah,
back. When we came back, they remodeled it, and they just completely took off the top half of the
Actually,
building.
the dragon took out the whole second floor, so they had to.
So
Okay.
yes,
I
Exactly.
see.
that's what we're going with,
The tail whip. Whoosh.
and it was just gone. I can deal with that.
The dragon was kind of moonlighting as a demolitionist.
So I'm gonna kind of like go up against the wall by the window and try to like peer out without being seen myself.
Go ahead and roll stealthy.
Why does both suck at stealth? We're just like, oh, Spider-Man, Spider-Man meme, pointing at each
Both
other.
hiding from each other.
12.
I feel like this is just gonna end in one of those awkward
So-
stare-offs.
Yeah, I mean, his passive is going to pick that up, so.
If nothing else, you don't necessarily see me, but you hear me clank as I come against the
You kind of
I
watch
stopped.
it, and from an outside perspective, you have Angelo kind of leaning in, putting his ear to the window frame, and Pythavin's on the other side of the wall. They're both kind of leaning into the same wall on either side, and just kind of waiting for further motion.
I'm waiting.
Pythavin's already kind of freaked out.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
You kind of hear bated breath coming from the other side.
I'm gonna. Oh.
Do it. Do it.
Do it. Do it.
Do I perceive him being there? Or am I just. Other than just kind of a shadowy figure that I think that I saw?
Yeah, his stealth was 11. Yeah.
I didn't roll.
right.
Well, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
so.
you don't need to. Passively, you both are.
Both of us,
Perceiving it.
both of us know
Somebody we
that
didn't-
someone is there and we
Someone
don't
is there.
know who it is.
Angelo, you hear a scurrying. It kind of runs underneath your, well, not underneath, but by your foot, and turns a corner.
Just kick the wall.
And Python, you hear this.
Don't.
Can I open the window?
Yes.
Actually, I'm gonna bust it open with thaumaturgy.
Angelo, you see like shattered glass kind of
Well,
start
no,
flying toward.
not
No,
like
that's not how thaumaturgy works.
I'm not like busting, like literally busting. I'm
You're
like,
not gonna bust it. Okay. All right. In other words, open telekinetically. Yes.
open it violently.
Violently.
Oh, that-
So the windows kind of fly open, double paned. One of them kind of smacks Angelo in the face.
oh, he falls on the back. He falls on his back. Oh,
Go Python, you see Angelo there.
what are you doing?
Did you see a creature?
I felt one.
I would like to jump out the window. Where did it go?
Where
Roll a
did it
dex
go?
roll for me, please.
Trip, fallout.
22.
Okay, nice. You watch as Python Superman dives through the window, somersaults and lands right in front of you, while Angela, you're still trying to collect yourself and rub your face.
Do I know which way it went?
You saw it kind of scurry by, but you're not even sure what it was. Probably bug, a rat.
It went somewhere that way, and I'm going to motion to like everywhere I can.
Yeah, Python, you don't get the sense of
No.
anything.
Would you please, next time you blow a window open, could you not do it into my face?
Maybe you shouldn't be hiding outside of windows.
I wasn't hiding outside of the window. I was looking for Toblin.
Super creep moment.
Outside of the window.
Yes, outside of the window. I saw a shadow. What were you doing in there?
I also saw something.
Something. What did you see?
Well, I would love to tell you, but you don't know where it went.
But what did you see? Maybe I can remember.
Who is
Rat.
I saw a small creature. Something went under the door.
Well, something scurried by my feet, but I do not know for sure where it went.
Can I look around and see if I see anything out of place?
Oh yeah, you're right, Tavi. It is tomorrow. Sorry, you distracted me. What is it that you're looking for?
Anything out of place?
I mean, you're behind the inn. There's nothing you would necessarily know that would be in place in the first place.
So Pi kind of like glances around and then like looks back to Angelo and she's like, "Did you say you were looking for Toblin?
Yes, I was.
He's not managing the bar."
No. Do you know where he is?
If I knew where he was. No.
Huh. Well, I was given 10 minutes, so I should get back. And he's gonna walk away. Back into the inn.
Python, you kind of walk as Angelo kind of turns the corner. Super creepy, kind of, walking away from the back aisle there. What would you like to do?
Oh, me? I'm gonna kind of look around. Is there any, like, stuff that, like, a rat or something could be hiding behind?
I mean, there's several items in your room. You can certainly go ahead and make an investigation check and see.
What about out here in the alleyway?
I mean, it's pretty open in the alleyway, other than dirt and some patches of grass work, but that's pretty much it. You see the other buildings around you.
How high up is the window I just jumped out of? Would it be easy to get back in, or should I just walk back around the front?
Whatever you'd like to do.
What would be easier?
Well, easier would probably to be walking back around, I suppose, but the cooler would be...
Okay, I'm climbing back in the window then.
Who's gonna see you? The rat?
Another dex.
Was I rolling? I sure was, huh? That's a nat 20 plus 3.
Woo!
Oh.
Jeez.
Yeah, so, I mean, you do the same thing, but in reverse and with flourish when you land inside your room, but unfortunately nobody sees it.
And I'm just thaumaturgy the window
But
back
it was
shut behind
really
me.
cool. Yes, and you incorporate that too, so the window just closes itself, latches accordingly. You're now standing in your middle of the room, kind of awaiting applause, but for slight moments, nothing comes.
Just let the audience soak that one in, and then I'm gonna go back to my room and start.
You kind of breathe and sigh easy, and you're like, okay. Are you going to investigate the room?
Yes.
All right, roll investigation for me.
Why did that go backwards? 21.
Woo, nice. Okay.
Nat
All right,
19
so
plus 2.
So you spend a few minutes here to kind of go. You're kind of paranoid a little bit because you swore you saw something just kind of scurried, on the floor. So you got that icky kind of creepy feeling about your room right now. Like there's something in here and it's gross. So you basically pull the bed away from the wall. You push the dressers out of the way, the trunk. You kind of move everything that you possibly can kind of away from the walls. The closets. I mean, you do a thorough search of the room.
Pipe's going insane.
It's basically and for the rest of you, you do hear kind of like some ruckus going on in the hallways across, but it's dulled because it's further away. But I mean, you do hear like someone's like shuffling or moving stuff around.
If I'm in my room, which I'm assuming
Tor,
is close.
Tor, you're kind of hearing, and I mean, you're kind of like, what's going on?
I'm gonna close my book and walk out over to Pythavin's room and kind of knock on the door.
Noisy neighbor kind of thing going on, so you're getting curious. So Pythavin, as you kind of are doing this, all of a sudden you hear
She jumps.
Yeah, and you do. It startles you.
What?
What are you doing?
It kind of looks around the room like, what am I doing?
At this point, your room is completely disheveled. I mean, the bed is cockeyed. And as you were pulling the dresser, the drawers kind of opened up, and some of them kind of fell out. So, yeah. The rug is flipped over.
Practicing my footwork.
At this point, Tor, I don't think no one's opened the door. You guys are talking through the closed
Yeah,
door.
no.
Yes. So, Tor, you're in the hallway just listening in.
Why does your footwork sound like furniture being disassembled?
She went to IKEA.
She's just trying to put together her bed, dude. Lay off.
It was already put together. That's why I'm confused.
Pyth is kind of like, as she's talking, like slowly trying to put stuff back in place.
Okay, you're kind of hearing, but it's not as I guess rambunctious as the previous sounds. It's almost more
Which
calculated.
honestly makes it even more suspicious.
You can tell that she's like, she's like moving stuff kind of slowly in terms of not making noise. It's still making noise though.
She hasn't actually responded to the question. She's just moving.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not sure where to go from here, Pyth. I feel like I should be concerned, but at the same time, I can't really also think of a good reason why I am concerned. It's just weird. Weirder than you usually are.
Pyth finally, stops and, considers for a moment. And then she's gonna go and kind of, crack the door and open it slightly and look Tor over. And then be like,
Kind of see a little kind of crack of the door, slightly open, ajar, and you see kind of Pythavin's half little eye kind of slotted in between the door frame. It's kind of creepy.
Tor just looks confused.
do you remember that rat? In the red brand hideout.
The one you killed or the one that ended up being the familiar?
Sure.
Yes. clearly by the question I asked. Yes, I remember.
I thought I saw something.
And Pi
But
finally
if-
just like opens the door and lets her in. like she's aware of the fact that she already looks insane, so she's like, whatever.
Tor steps into the room that has been completely rearranged, basically.
Pyth is not self-aware.
I was looking for where it could have been hiding. I could have sworn I saw it. Angelo appears to have seen something as well. I don't know that it was a rat. I just know that it was a creature and it was in here. And as far as I know, have you seen any...
Oh, and to that point, Pythavin, by the way, your search resulted into just a very messy, disheveled room.
I figured.
You did notice that, man, that when they clean, and whoever is in charge of cleaning definitely does not move things when they do.
Does it look like there was any sort of like nest or something, like a rat's nest or something? Like, does it look like have been rats, or is this like?
Yeah, in fact, actually, behind one of the bedposts, when you pulled it out, you noticed that there might be a couple of droppings of some weird nature. The maid missed it. You definitely are having second thoughts of giving 5 stars to this place.
Anyway, this place may be infested with rats, or maybe we're being spied on, or maybe I'm paranoid.
Dire rats. We've not had the rats in the inn.
Okay,
Question.
so here are my thoughts. DM, correct me if I'm wrong, because Tor would know this, but I'm a newbie at Dungeons and Dragons. A familiar cannot exist outside of the wizard, yes? So, like, if wizard was dead, familiar does not exist. They cannot be summoned.
That is theoretically correct under normal circumstances. There are always some more permanent conjurations of a higher level. But
as a basic rule, okay. I just want to make sure before Tor sounded stupid. So, we know Glassstaff is dead. More than like. We're assuming Glassstaff is dead because if he's not, that means that both, I believe, Darren and our good friend have lied to us. And if that's the case, we have even bigger problems because that means that we have a lot of people lying to us. So under the assumption that Glassstaff is dead, his familiar should not exist. So maybe we can't rule it out entirely, but maybe we can put it lower on the list. Second, this place is probably infested with rats. This is the most likely, I believe, possibility of the 3 things, is that we live in a terrible little town now, and there are definitely just rats here.
Pyth kind of rubs her temples.
Third, I definitely think you're paranoid, but I think that kind of is fair, given everything.
Look, I don't know how to explain it. But something... I don't know what it was, I don't know exactly what I saw, but I know something wasn't right. I had a feeling.
Maybe you shouldn't be in a room by yourself?
Pyth kind of looks back at her like, are you offering?
Tor kind of looks at her like, should I offer, or am I gonna get, like, shoved out of the room? I don't know how Pythavin reacts. She tends to react weird with everything.
She's like, I have no idea how to predict what Pythavin will do next at any given point.
You can roll insight. That might give you some.
We both insight check each other.
Yes, insight checking.
To the insight check.
A 15.
19.
Okay, 19.
Yeah.
I mean, Pyth is actually considering taking you up on the offer. You can tell, like, she's like genuinely kind of, I don't know what the word would be, but like, she's confused as to what's going on and concerned as to, like, being alone.
Yes,
Yeah.
and DM will add to that, Tor, that you kind of get the feeling that Python is maybe a little jumpy.
Yes, I was getting that vibe anyways.
Right.
I mean,
Confirmed.
we shared a tent. That was a lot smaller than a room. So,
I will move the furniture back, and I will join you in your room.
cool. Tor kind of gives like thumbs up.
It's like, at the very least, I will be able to confirm that another person is seeing the things that I'm seeing.
Or you will prove you are crazy.
Yeah, Pyth is like, at least I'll know.
One way or the other.
So Pyth just goes back to, like, pushing the furniture back to where it was.
Tor helps.
Oh, thanks.
We could be buddies.
Nice.
There's some stuff for that, probably.
So Angelo did walk back in.
Yes. And meanwhile, while Angelo is turning the corner, Mahi and Tavi, you see Toblin walk in from the kitchen area. He kind of gives kind of a weird kind of look at you all two. He kind of squints his eyes a little bit and then takes his place behind the counter.
Hey, do you have anything light? I'm not looking to get drunk. I'm just looking for something to drink.
He smirks at you and then kind of looks you up and down and then he goes, "All right, light? Are you sure about that?"
I can drink heavy. I want to, but I figured you probably wouldn't give it to me considering last night.
He kind of shrugs. He goes, "I've seen worse." And he goes behind the counter. Pulls out a little bottle of wine. Fills up a goblet. Passes it over to you.
Thank you.
So it's kind of fruity. You consume it. It's definitely not as hard or as palatable as some of the other things that you have tried in this town so far.
Yeah.
You get the sense, though, however, that he did kind of slip you something that's a little bit more expensive. And as he passes it to you, he has kind of his hand held out in a gesturing motion.
This is me to DM. They're paying for all this, weren't they? Or was that just the one night? I guess it's been a while. So me personally, I don't remember. Mahi would.
In game, you're actually not kind of sure about that, to be quite honest. There are some things that have been covered for you, and some stuff that you're.
Okay, well, and now another question. Mahi would know, how much would this wine normally cost? Like something like this? Because last time I didn't ask, I ended up paying 2 gold for a beer. Don't want to make that mistake again because I did not know how much things cost.
Yeah, as far as this is concerned, food and water. Nope. Hold on. Where is my listing of pricing? This is going to be 2 silver.
Okay. I just go, oh, and I give him 2 silver. That'll be all. Thank you. Don't
He
need
nods,
any more.
pockets it.
No, he's just drinking a little bit of wine.
Tavi's gonna look at Mahi and be like, "Really, dude? Wine?"
At this point, the door's open, and you watch as Angelo walks in.
I could not find my
He
wallet.
literally just came in.
Yes. Okay.
Toblin kind of he's bent over to the counter, and then he kind of shoots up and nods as you approach.
Can I insight check him?
Okay.
Just 26.
Okay. He looks tired. Looks like it's been a long day. You're not really necessarily getting anything super sus about him, just other than you get the kind of the feeling that his hospitality is lacking this evening.
Sir, could I buy myself a drink and these two gentlemen here drinks as well?
Mahi kind of drinks up real quick and then like slides it like, "Oh, I just got done another drink."
Well, I just got done. What a coincidence.
Yes.
All right. He kind of nods, and he goes under the counter and pulls out a pitcher, puts it in the center, and then gets a couple of mugs, passes it out to the three of you.
I'm gonna lay a gold on.
Can I have
the
2
table.
mugs
All right.
full, please?
He kind of looks at you, and then he bends down behind the counter and pulls out another mug, and so you now have 2 empty mugs. The mugs themselves are empty, but the pitcher in the middle.
So wait, do I have to pour this myself?
He pockets the he kind of looks at you. He pockets the gold, nods over to Angelo.
Yeah, I said it out loud.
He kind of ignores you, and he grabs his kind of towel that he's got in his apron and starts wiping his hands and says, "Well, if you all need me, I'll be in the back." And then he turns and walks away.
Yes. Thank you. Mr. Goliath, I do not mean to be rude, but could you give me and the paladin just a few moments alone?
Why do you keep calling me Mr. Goliath?
Would you rather me call you Miss or Mrs.?
Valid?
Call me
Angelo,
Dr. Goliath.
don't assume.
You're a doctor.
I just prefer being called Doctor.
Oh, of course. Dr. Goliath. Could you please give me and the paladin just a few moments alone? Mr. Doctor.
I'm gonna point at the picture and then point back at my 2
By the
mugs.
way,
You
passive
won't call
insight.
him by name,
He's
but you'll
totally
call
not
him
a
doctor. You don't have enough respect
Okay.
to be called Tavi, but you
Okay,
have enough respect
okay,
to be
outside-
called Dr. Goliath.
I saw a post, like a meme, where
Oh my god.
where like an ex ran into his ex-girlfriend or whatever, and he's like, "Is it Miss or Mrs. now?" And she goes, "It's Doctor." So that's why.
Honestly, that's why I want to doctor it so that I can pull that ultimate power move in the future when they're like, "Oh, is that Miss or Mrs.?" Actually, it's Doctor.
But yeah, that's why I said it.
Dr. Barbarian.
Anyway, you gonna respond?
Goliath.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
insight, by the way, Angelo, you know that's
I
crap.
figured.
He's not a real doctor.
I think the insight.
that's why I said I just prefer to be called Doctor.
I think the check was like a minimal of I don't know 2. Like
Maybe.
But then
Tommy,
I
you
pointed
feel
at
like
the drink.
you passed that deception with flying.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I pointed to the picture and the mug, like, "Hey, are you gonna hook it up or I gotta pour it myself?"
And I'm gonna pour it. And then I'm gonna.
Thank you, Mr.
Sir.
Mr. Sir. Thank
Yeah,
you, Mr.
sir.
Sir. Obviously, we'll call him Mr. Sir from now on.
Of course, Doctor.
he just kind of goes, "Oh, okay." Grabs the pitcher, and pours it and starts drinking.
Yeah.
So you wanted to talk to me about something? Go. It like kind of waves him off, like go. You wanted to talk to me about something?
Yes. I just thought we ought to get to know each other just a bit. How long have you been a paladin?
Well, I've always been training as far as I can remember. Just never really wasn't one or wasn't training to be one.
Why do you do it? Being a paladin.
At first, it was just because it was what I knew. But I started to get my own theologies and stuff, and I found some like-minded people, and we fight for what we believe is right.
What do you believe is right?
That's
Tis
deep
a simple
question, not gonna lie.
No, it's quite simple, actually. You see, the world, there is right and wrong, black and white, this or that.
I
What is right?
disagree. Well,
I respect
Basic.
your disagreement.
basic. If you wrong someone, you are required, I should say, to, dang it, I forgot the word. I was going to use a big word and I done forgot it.
Nice!
I like that break of character.
I am not.
Reconcile?
Yeah, I'll go with that. I feel like you should reconcile. Mai doesn't laugh. I do. And repay those you have wronged.
So you believe that if you wrong someone, you should be punished for the wrong you have committed?
Yes. There are certain scenarios where judgment and wisdom comes into play,
Of course.
but the majority of the time, I'd say yes.
What if I told you that I killed an innocent person? What would be my punishment?
Depends.
If I
But
found an innocent person that I did not know and I stabbed them 42 times, what would be my punishment? In
Jail.
your personal view.
Life or death.
Death.
You're just a danger to society.
I want to ask you a question. Now, I want you to be careful with your answer. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Do you know who Talos is?
Uh-oh, it's getting heavy.
I want to lie, but I know he'll figure it out.
His insight is.
I mean,
His
that's crazy freaking high.
insight's like 22.
But try it.
No.
Find the game is rolling and beating those incredible odds.
You can either just
Admit
lose
it
or you
or
can attempt to
lie.
win.
As far as you know, you might,
You don't know that his insight's 22. He's just
Yeah,
a person.
Yeah, you don't know if he'll figure it out. It depends on what he says, though.
I do have a somewhat basic knowledge.
Basic knowledge.
Oh, I did
Tell me,
not.
enlighten me. If I did not know who Talos was, how would you explain Talos to me? I'm gonna pour myself some from the pitcher.
He kind of watches it, kind of pours it, but he eyes you kind of slowly. He's pouring it like he's waiting for a really good answer.
Out of chaos, storms. He seems to like discourse.
I would agree. What of Talos' followers? What do you make of them?
Haven't come across really any.
Did we assume that Brie Larson was going to be Python's real life actor or actress?
No, but I wouldn't be against it.
Just remembering that conversation. Okay, sorry guys, go ahead.
You have never come across one.
I mean, I've come across a few, but not any way I can have a certain opinion. It's
And
like
if I were to tell you that
The memes.
if I were to tell you that your cleric was a cleric of Talos, what would you say?
I'd want to figure out why. Because everybody has a reason to serve who they serve, or do what they do. You don't just do something out of impulse.
I disagree.
Except for Tabith.
I disagree, and I'm going to slap his. I'm going to slap his mug off the table.
And he starts burping.
I'm going to slap
Machi's
mug off.
Mugs in his hand.
Will you allow Angelo to roleplay in the moment, please?
So you slap my mug?
Yes, off the counter. True or false? That was impulsive. Did I have reasoning to do that? Or is there no reasoning and I just did it because I can?
I believe you had a reason.
What was my reason?
To either aggravate me, or prove a point.
Yes, I did prove a point. Based on impulse. I do not hesitate to prove that point. It was an impulsive decision. Now, you may say that everyone has a reasoning for doing something, but if I go out in the street next morning and I grab a little girl off the street and I stab her, what is my reasoning?
That you would enjoy it, or you're trying to get noticed, or you're just a psychopath. Why would I want to get noticed?
So, with all of those scenarios of why I would do that, would you say that I am sadistic?
If you actually did such a thing, yes.
So tell me, why are you traveling with the cleric of Talos? I just want a straight answer, no lying. I can figure out the truth, with or without you.
I just kind of looks around. Tavith's not trying to list, Tavith's off in the corner, right?
Yeah, Tavith is just down in his drinks and he's not really paying attention. He's being inappropriate.
He just kind of leans a little bit. I'm figuring her out. Trying. There's a reason.
I don't know what it is. You make a mistake of assuming the best in people. You assume you know her, but you do not. You are but a means to an end for her. You are nothing more. If you assume that you are her friend, you are sadly mistaken. I'm not sure you want to figure her out. If you do, you might find something you do not like.
Job. It's
your job. Defender of the weak, defender of the helpless, defender of the innocent. Condoning petty theft? Yes, I know your job.
I try to look at the bigger things.
Oh, the bigger things, like a cleric of Talos.
What's your point of all this?
What is my point? Good question. I'm glad you asked. Paladin, I'm going to try to explain this in a way that you can understand. Do you not see a problem with a paladin whose sole purpose is to create justice and to defend the weak and the innocent and to fight for right, is fighting alongside a cleric of Talos? Do you know what clerics do?
Yes.
What do they do?
I happen to know a couple.
What do clerics do?
They serve their god.
How? What do they do? Stop hopping around the question. Answer it.
They do what their god wants them to do.
They sacrifice innocent people. A little girl on the street. A man who has a wife and children to feed. A woman who is just getting by. They sacrifice innocent people, and you travel with one and you endorse it. Do you not see a problem with that?
I see you have a personal connection with Talos yourself, whether you know of or personal.
No,
Am I correct?
actually, you are not. Do you want to know why I'm so hell bent on figuring this woman out? And figuring you out, for that matter. Because when
Good
I
luck
see
on
wrong, when I see evil, I don't try to figure it out. I end it. I suggest you
I
do the same.
agree. I agree on ending your enemies. What better to learn to how to kill them than to figure them out? Figure out how they tick.
Trust me, I figure out how everyone ticks.
Have you figured out how I tick?
Well, Goliath, come here. Dr. Goliath.
Oh,
In the game, and out of the game. It was like that. Yeah.
Mr. Sir, yes. How can I help you?
Come here.
Trots over there. Stomps over. At your service.
Maki. What is the difference between you two? I'm not talking about physical attributes. What is the difference between you two?
A lot. You're gonna have to
I
be
can tell
just
you. I can tell you what the difference.
Oh, go ahead.
please do.
He falls in holes, and I don't.
That was the answer I should have expected.
Yes. Perfect.
Fall in more holes than physical ones, I see.
Toffee just looks confused at that. Like, what?
He fights and kills for fun. I have reasoning.
What is your reasoning? You have yet to answer a straight question, my friend.
Because not
You've
a lot
been
of people
bouncing
like the
around.
answer.
What is your answer? Try me.
I
The
fight
truth is truth.
for me. I have no faith, no religion. What I do on my own accord.
I
Good,
admire
evil, light, dark, infernal fire, and celestial radiance. All it is types of power. It's how you use it. I am going to find a way for myself to protect the ones that need to be protected.
Who needs to be
By the way,
protected?
as he went to say that, he actually like kind of hesitated. He was going to say something, but then he did change. That was
Who
just
needs to be protected?
the innocent-minded.
The
The ones
innocent
that
man.
are in this. And I just kind of gesture to the tavern. These kind of people. They have a closed-minded view on the world. They think it's just right and it's wrong. They just think this or that. But it goes deeper than that. Not everything is about right and wrong.
Would you say that you are a defender of the innocent?
I try.
Would you say you are a defender of the innocent? I'm not looking for if you're trying or not. Are you?
I have failed. But I do truly want to be.
You want to be? Then how about you start by avenging the lives your cleric has sacrificed? Food for thought.
Here's some food for thought. You tell. You get in my way, or you harm this group. I will kill you without remorse or hesitation.
And there
How's
it is.
that
I
for
found your
impulse?
tick. You are impulsive. Easily aggravated. Run
You can tell he's
purely
getting
on
very
emotional.
aggravated.
Purely
Is
emotional.
Tavi still listening to this?
Yes.
Yes.
My
You should
emotion.
slap him so I can roll.
I'm gonna be like, you should see his sword.
My emotion. It's what drives me. Not a god. My
Careful.
emotion, my hatred, and my hunger.
Hatred for who? Me? Talos? Evil people?
My enemies.
Your enemies. Oh, so it's fine if they're sacrificing other people as long as they're not sacrificing the ones that you love. Of course, I see. You know what you are?
A hypocrite.
A hypocrite, a fraud, a phony, a coward.
Mahi just kind of gets up and, like, he's trying to be slightly intimidating, like, he did not like you calling him a coward.
I need you to go ahead and roll a wisdom saving throw, please.
Crap, what have you done? What have you done?
Oh,
Sword?
What have you
Did
done?
I talk the sword into existence here?
yes.
I don't. What am I
Oh my
going
God.
to do?
Tommy,
What am I
sword,
going to
sword,
do?
sword, sword,
Words,
sword.
words can hurt just like
11.
punching.
Oh no.
Dear Lord.
Run, Pow Pow. As we officially get kicked out of the inn.
That was an 11.
It wasn't the first time. That's an 11?
That's an
Excellent.
11. No, it's not. I can
So
tell
you-
by your.
With that last statement, Angelo, you kind of you notice as Mahi kind of he gets up and knocks the bar stool out of the way. His tail kind of swishes out. You watch as
Doing
kind
the
of
tongue
there's
thing.
a bright,
He's-
fiery beams coming out of his eye socket. He roars a little bit, and then he starts taking a defensive stance and starts reaching for his sword. Tavi, you are also seeing this.
I will deal with my enemies and my group on my own accord. And if you've got a problem with that, and
Finally.
he's starting to lose it.
Took you
Like,
long
you
enough, and I pull out my rapier.
All right, I need everybody, including Tavi, to roll initiative for me.
Can I just say something real quick? Like
Yes.
you see? That's what you get for drinking wine, dude.
He might not be the first. You know what? Angelo might not be the first one I hit.
Ah,
That's a.
I'm assuming that Pyth and Tor do not need to roll initiative because we're
No.
up there like playing
Tor-
interior decorating.
I'm halfway debating whether Tabla needs to, but he's
24.
24 in initiative.
Yeah,
Holy
I rolled a 19.
Nike.
You have a
Jeez.
+5 to initiative?
Oh, sorry. I was looking at the wrong thing. It's 21.
Okay.
Let's
still
say
good.
I don't remember you having like a +5.
I thought we were
Archer
rolling.
just,
I thought we were rolling to
possessed.
hit for some reason.
Archer possesses Tavi.
So
Yes.
21. Yeah.
All right, 21. Mahi was 19. You said.
Yep.
That's good. Either way. Angelo.
20.
Wow, you guys are accurately portraying what's happening here.
Tavi.
Okay, Tavi, it's your move.
I don't have any qualms with anyone here.
Just drink your
You're,
beer.
you're noticing that everyone's kind of they're taking defensive sides on both sides, and you've been in enough bar fights before where you know this is going to go somewhere. Except that instead of fisticuffs, they're both reaching for their weapons. One's already pulled it.
Can I like step back and just watch them go at it?
All right.
Sort
So
of.
you use your movement
Without-
basically to kind of just back around the corner.
I want to
I'm
back
just
away
gonna-
from and
You
take it like a
kinda back
defensive.
away, give yourself about maybe 10-foot breathing room there. And
Yeah,
kinda
and
watch
I'm
both
gonna-
of this go down.
Right. I'm just gonna maybe take a ready action here in case someone does come at me.
Okay. So you have your maul to your side. You've not necessarily raised it yet, but you've got it to your side, ready to swing if anyone comes within your vicinity.
Right. I just think the whole situation's funny.
All right. So you kind of have a little bit of smirk, but you're again taking kind of defensive stance yourself. All right. So that will lead us to Angelo.
By
I do
the
not
way,
want to hurt you.
his tail is like whipping back and forth
Yes.
like an angry snake. He's like showing his teeth, and he's very beastly like right now. Like his spines are sticking up. He's showing his teeth. He's doing the little snake tongue
Angelo is eating this up.
He's already scattered a couple of the chairs around there.
Am I able to use my bonus action for insightful fighting? And use my action to hold a dodge? Am I able to do that?
I think that is.
You don't need to hold a dodge, you just take the dodge action.
Yeah, just take the dodge action, not hold dodge,
Right.
but take the dodge action.
I mean, that tracks.
That does.
Okay. Well, if I'm doing insightful fighting, I need Machi to make a deception check.
with your stupid passive insight. Deception, where is my modifier? And that, I believe, is an 18.
20.
You suck.
So that means, just so that we all know here, that means you get to apply your sneak attack without needing advantage. All right, and you are holding a dodge.
Yes.
Okay. So that will end your turn then. Mahi, it is your turn.
Am I under the curse? Technically, or
Yes.
no? Oh, I am under the curse. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. This has instilled a surge that has not happened to this point, therefore, but you have noticed the past couple of times that the curse is taking. It's getting harder and harder to deflect it.
Mm-hmm.
The DC is rising, and therefore also what triggers it. It's changing.
So he unsheathes his sword, but he's usually, when he uses his sword, it's actually very, not elegant, but like skilled. Like you can tell he's used this sword all of his life. This looks like Ray's version of lightsaber fighting. It sucks. Where's my... I'm going to bonus action cast Searing Smite, so his blade just starts glowing, and it's like flames and sparks kind of flicker off it, and he's gonna rush to hit you. 1 second, I gotta eat a spell slot. Uh, 23.
With disadvantage?
Oh, it's with
crap.
disadvantage? I did not know it was with disadvantage.
No, wait a second. Why would he get disadvantage?
Dodge.
Oh, hold on. I think no. I don't think that gives you disadvantage. Does it give you disadvantage? Hold on.
I mean, that's literally what dodge is you give enemies disadvantage on hitting you.
Yeah, any attack roll made against you has disadvantage. Yep, that's right.
Oh,
So
well then that's a 12.
disadvantage.
12.
Does not hit.
You got luck!
So
So
he
as,
just
Lucky.
comes and he
Very
gets
much lucky.
overhead slams with two arms, just goes, "Rah!" and just like tries to cut down straight in the middle.
you kind of watch as Angelo very gracefully just shifts his weight to the side and watches Tavi. He kind of watches Mahi kind of slams down towards, but hitting nothing but air. But he is hitting the tables behind him, and you watch as one of the tables flips. At which point, you see a Toblin kind of peek around the corner. Oh, what's going on here?
Mahi just kind of
That's
goes, "Get back!" But he's like showing all of his teeth, like this, and this does not concern you.
He's gone feral, boys.
I would get Sildar if I were you as soon as possible.
Toblin, it was something in the wine he gave him. I don't know, man. It's all right.
You're watching Toblin as he's like not really prepared for this.
This
And
really complicated.
he starts sweating from his
No.
little spot.
Please.
Yeah, can you just tell me and Tor at what point we would hear any of this?
At this
I mean,
point,
I
I'd
am
say that
not
you would have
being
heard kind of the
quiet.
table crash.
Can we go
We
ahead and
might
just
have
roll
heard
an
me
initiative? Even if we don't do anything?
Well, yeah, if you want to go out to investigate.
I'm not yet, but maybe next time something happens.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you're kind of sitting in your room. You do hear.
Actually,
kind
I take that back. Pike's pretty jumpy right now. If she heard something, she would go to check it out.
right. Now, were you already with Tor? Did you join her? So you're
Tor
both
was
there.
with Tor and I.
Yeah,
were
Tor was
rearranging
with
my room.
Python rearranging the room, and then we were probably going to be heading towards my room.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, you guys are, and I'd say probably for this purpose, you probably had your door open, right?
As we
Probably.
probably.
Not that it necessarily matters. This you would have heard even with a closed door. Okay.
Yeah, because it's not upstairs anymore. It's on the same floor. So
Okay. Go
Yeah.
ahead and roll initiative for me then.
Can I roll initiative too? Because I would have followed Pyth.
Yep, exactly. Both of you roll initiative. And you
Ah,
guys
that's
go-
bad.
at the top of the next round.
can I go grab a pitcher, the rest of the beer or grog,
Okay.
and just take it back to where take it back to where I was
I have an 8.
I have a
and just
10.
drink.
We did great.
Nice.
I mean, to be fair, initiative is how fast you move to start a battle, and we were literally in another room. So that's
This is true. Yeah, you'll come at the top of the next round at the end of that round, obviously. So
Yeah,
that
which
makes-
follows. So we'll
It
see
follows,
this action.
So yeah, I just take the pitcher back with me.
So Tavith is getting drunk for his action. All right. At this point, you kind of Toblin totally ducks behind, and he's no longer there. Angelo, it is your turn.
Is it possible I can just like tap him but not do any damage? Just to let him know that I could have hit him. Even if I have to roll to attack it.
Strike if you wanted to punch him, or
I think what he's trying to do is
Yeah, just
Hit
kind
him
of
with
like
the side of the
just
sword.
like tap him with the side of the sword.
Still using the rapier,
Okay.
but just not actually dealing damage.
Just not actually hitting him, but like
well, go ahead and roll an attack roll just to see if you hit him, and then
yeah.
we'll curb the damage.
How does this work? 16. I don't think that hits.
Technically, you have sneak attack,
that's for damage, though.
That's
I
for
know.
damage, yeah.
which is
I don't think it's
not
16 hit.
necessarily going to use it. All right, Mahi.
And then I'm using my bonus action to disengage and run as far away as I can and still be in the same room. It's like still in the room. Maybe possibly by the door.
Mahi doesn't have his shield yet, so I think it is 16, right?
Oh
my
shoot, it is
armor class
16.
Armor class is 16.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
tap me.
Yep, I tap him and then I disengage and go 30 feet
I feel
away.
like Mahi would have like kind of instinctually like did like a shield motion, but was like, oh wait, no
and
shield.
then you just hit his arm.
So
and he kind of watches as Angelo kind of flourishes around your shield arm, and then kind of points at the rapier at your nose, and just goes a little boop, and then he smiles and then disengages.
so the question
Ooh.
is the dodge move that he did in this one. He's not limping, is he? He's just doing it like with a.
Oh yeah, is he
Do I
limping as he goes to the door?
Do I notice that he's not limping?
Whenever
What?
What
hello.
were you gonna say?
He got out.
DM?
Oh, did I cut out?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, whenever he's in a fight, you can he has less of a limp. But when he's actually just moving in a fight, he just puts less weight on his right leg. He moves at a faster speed, but he's just putting less weight on one leg when he's moving.
He's still limping, just differently.
He's still limping, just differently.
He's still playing it.
Yeah, I was hoping to catch him.
I mean, you could insight check versus his performance.
I
Yeah,
mean,
well, I'll wait till the end of this encounter.
yeah, negative charisma guy.
Thing is, do you actually have reason to do it, or are you metagaming because you want to know that he's faking his limp?
I guess it would be more of like a perception thing. Like,
It would be some perception if he could see it and he'd notice it.
All right, then I'll do that on my next turn.
And whether he needs to do an intellect to deduce what he's saying, that's a different.
He's bluffing. Maybe that connects to his actual lymph that he has.
By the way, are you still disadvantaged, Tavi? Are you still exhausted? I think.
Did we take a?
I think
No, we
rest?
didn't last time.
I don't think we rested yet. I think tonight when you rest, you'll be to normal, right?
Okay, well,
Because I would have had new spells, I don't. So
I rolled the second
Yeah,
time.
I'm
and
still
it was
missing.
literally- It was like the same as far as the
Question.
whatchamacallit goes.
Would
Initiative.
Searing Smite... Oh, no, never mind. I was gonna... No, wait, it is concentration. How does that work in this instance? Like, he tapped me, but it didn't
I think it's
do
only
any
if you take damage. So
Yeah, concentration is only damage, so... Okay, never mind. It's still up.
All right. And so, with the disengaging, you were retreating to where?
near the door.
Okay.
This is when I wish I had the Sentinel feat.
So it's Mahi's turn now.
Okay. Mahi just kind of like, not scratches his face, but kind of like, you can tell he's just in a mad frenzy, just goes, ugh! And like screams something in Draconic and just rushes at you and tries to hit you again. This isn't at disadvantage though, correct?
No,
Correct. 16.
that hits.
Okay. Where's my D8? One second, I'm adding damage.
oof.
Where is my... And I'm actually going to Divine Smite. Sorry.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. So... Oh, where is it? $27 points of damage.
Nice.
Bye.
So he just comes in and just a mad fear like slices towards your stomach. Doesn't like thrust, but slices, and you just see his sword almost explode almost. The flames pop out, then like a blinding light just comes out. Like it's almost like if you were to look directly at the sword, you'd have a bunch of purple spots everywhere. Like you can't look at it. And as soon as he slices you, he just like kind of like is half bent over, but just kind of look at you and like does his head back and forth. Like he's just like, he is still very, 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 very ticked.
Angelo stumbles back. Oh.
Give up right
Melee with
head.
Mahi.
Yep, so at this point, the top of the round here, Pyth and Tor, you're kind of cornering the corner at the moment and walking into the main common room. And
We
you're,
see
you're
this.
basically seeing Mahi's gutting. They can't react yet at this point. It's Tavi's turn, but you are now in this at this point. That being the case, Tavi, it is your turn next.
Now Tavi's a little conflicted here because he just
Stuff is getting real.
he just smacked the crap out of poor
They're like,
Mr.
wait, this
Stern
was
here.
funny until his guts were falling out.
I mean, yeah. This looks like almost a killing blow at this point. Mahi went over the line.
Oh man,
Angelo looks hurt, like he, not quite one shot, but pretty close.
yeah.
By the way, I rolled max damage, and I rolled very well on my Divine Smite and pretty well on my Searing Smite.
Interesting enough, though, it's caught her right because of the the heat on it, it's cauterizing his wound. So it's not necessary.
So at least I'm not bleeding.
It's
It's like lightsaber wound.
Exactly, but it looks like he's about to lose his torso.
It's fine.
He's gonna Darth Maul it here in a minute.
I would try to grapple Mahi, but I'm not in a position. Really. With my
You can use your
exhaustion.
free action to ditch your. Well, yeah. Oh, okay, never mind. I was gonna
Yeah,
say
I
if
don't
your
want-
hands are occupied thereof with your with your drink.
You could always attempt it. So at least it looked good.
Now, also, I'll say for your knowledge, knowing being with Mahi and during his issue, so you are kind of aware of what's now. Normally, this is triggered by more physical activity, so you're not exactly sure, but you've seen the look before.
And the sword stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
That's why I don't want to. I'm like a little leery about getting in between.
So you are kind of aware of what may be going on, and you would have some knowledge in game at least of how to stop him. Remember, just for that purpose, either 0 HP for one of them, or he can't get into melee range.
I'm
I
gonna try to
suppose
grab
you
him.
Blow out
could.
so that Mahi doesn't straight up.
I was gonna say you could straight like, hey Angelo, when this happens, and then like,
Yeah, and
knock
Angelo,
him off or
yeah.
run away.
Angelo, for your perspective, you weren't thinking it would get this far. You've pissed people off before, but you're kind of a jerk. But not to this level, though. Well,
Well,
I mean, actually,
when I put Archer on the altar.
actually,
this is actually common for you. So
this is
you're used to.
this is on the worst side of what's happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is just the new town.
This is up there. This is in my top 5.
This feels familiar.
It feels very familiar.
Well, right.
Other than the
on the
theory
list.
pain.
Okay, I'm gonna try to grapple Mahi then.
It's time to move again. Change your name. Witness protection, everybody. All right,
Witness protected.
what you doing, Tavi?
Well, I failed on the grapple attempt.
Well, you don't know
Oh.
yet. He has to
16. 16
Okay.
on the athletics.
Did you fail it?
Yeah, on both
Okay.
of them. Whatever.
All right, so Tavi, y'all watch as Mahi as you start gearing up for basically kind of a final strike against it, and kind of noticing that he's almost finished, and there's a part of you that wants to halt. Like you've not gone too many times before like this, except for that one time. But something that's
Massacred
compelling you-
that poor red
except for that
rat.
one time.
poor little red brand you lopped off his head. But
Oh wait, and the guy that he acid blasted after he had surrendered.
yeah, in fact,
That guy too.
This is familiar to you too. Jeez,
I was
you guys-
gonna say I've done this quite a bit.
murder.
And
he doesn't Okay, let's be real. The only murder hobo here is Mahi.
That's true.
I've never killed.
Legit
I've
in-game.
only ever killed.
Tavi, here's
People
the
who
thing.
attack
Tavi
guns.
wants to be a murder hobo, but we actually stop him. You can't
stop
actually
Mahi.
call Tavi the murder hobo.
Half the time, Tavi does not
technically-
fight when he's given opportunities like this. He
He
usually
says things like "Let's kill everybody," but then he doesn't.
that's true.
Technically,
Well, because
what
Tavi
would be a
likes
murder
both of these
hobo
people.
is if we
Yeah, that's
kill
fair.
this innkeeper because we wanted the end. He just kills the bad guys or the people that hit him. And so far, no innocent people have hit him yet.
Well, this guy didn't even hit you. You just decided to murder him because your feelings got hurt. Like,
Yeah.
dude, you
One
need to get
instance
this
of-
problem
Yes.
under control, my dude.
This is the moment where this is going into murder hobo
This
territory.
is
Yes.
escalating for you. It's
Yeah.
somewhat of
Congratulations, Mahi. How does it feel to be a murder hobo?
Congrats.
terrible.
Congrats.
Yeah, like
you feel a swelling of remorse, but it's being stifled at the moment, and something
By vengeance and rage.
is compelling you further.
Dumb
Yeah, like-
rage.
like Tavi feels respected by Angelo since he called him doctor, so that's why he's like, "What's going on? Why are you killing this guy?"
But you do watch, though, however, as you watch, there's a kind of a big hunking Goliath hand tries to grab your sword arm, and as you kind of look at him, and you both lock eyes to each other, I mean, Tavid, you can kind of see the fire in his eyes at this point. You kind of know that Mahi's like not of his right mind, and he takes his arm and almost flings you off, and you kind of stumble a little bit back into the bar area. Will that do it for you?
Yeah, and I just back away again.
All right. Of course, you spilled your pitcher, by the way.
Exactly. I was about to say still.
You spilled your pitcher. You still have your malt handy, but you spilled your pitcher.
Now I'm more concerned about the pitcher.
Yes, you have somewhat of a sadness for Angelo. Going, well, I tried, and then you kind of look around the ground, going, oh, such a waste. Now it's Mahi's turn.
Wait, what?
Oh, I'm sorry. Angelo's turn. Sorry.
Angelo just spits out blood. Go ahead. Finish it. Then he drops his rapier. And he holds open his shirt to his chest.
So Mahi, you're getting flashed right now.
I turn around and I pull down my pants. No.
Finish it!
The moon is out, but it's in here too. All right, Mahi.
I'm still required, aren't I?
Yup.
Actually, I'm going to let you roll another wisdom saving throw.
Please, dice. Please, I beg of you.
Uh-oh.
That's not a success.
I might have to use a certain thing to give myself advantage.
Inspiration?
Do you have inspiration?
You do
I have it, but I don't know.
Then don't use it. Don't use it then.
I don't know how rare. I don't know how inspiration is. This is the first time I've ever had it, so I don't know if I should use it now.
DM did say he would start giving it to us more often for good moments.
He just earned it.
This is true.
I just earned it.
He just earned it.
That's a you problem then, my dude.
But to be fair,
The real question is Mahi legitimately trying to stop as he realizes this is happening?
Oh yeah, he is. He's legitimately trying to hold back. But it's the little tiny Mahi in his brain trying to pull back the gears. No, this is not what we want to do. Trying to pull it back.
It's the British Mahi trying to hold him back.
Yes.
it
little
would
British.
be appropriate to use your inspiration at this point to give you your advantage. Yes.
All right, and I use it. Oh.
Hopefully it's enough.
16.
16. DC's gone down for that. Very well.
Oh, my word, thank you so much.
All right. As Mahi raises the final strike, and you watch Angelo kind of prostrate his chest open for him, waiting for it, and you're kind of leaning over your head to the side a little bit, kind of squinting and kind of waiting for that final strike. It doesn't come. And you watch as Mahi's breathing starts slowing and the eyes start flickering. And the sword stops glowing.
Mahi just kind of stops. He's looking forward, but you can tell he's not there. Just kind of glossy-eyed.
He's frozen.
Yeah, and just kind of shakes a little bit. He starts visibly shaking and drops his sword. And he just kind of gets down on one knee. And you can tell he's taken back from this because for Mahi, it's never been this bad.
It would be technically Pyth. Well, was it Pyth or Tor? Which one had the higher initiative at this point?
Pyth. By 2.
So Pyth can chime in here.
Mahi is on one knee, half shaking, and his sword is on the ground. Dropped.
I'm finding the nearest chair.
You are moving. It ain't your turn.
Yeah, you're still there. You guys are still in position. So
As far as you know, Python might finish you off.
Go ahead, do it, coward.
yeah, she might.
She could. I feel like she could.
You see Pyth point her hand at Angelo and reach for her amulet. And she's gonna cast Healing Word.
Ooh.
At first for you.
What?
Are we out of initiative right now? Is that what we're doing?
No.
Not technically yet.
Okay.
That is 7 HP for you. That was a max roll.
Oh, thank God.
Which level did you do that on? Second
That
level?
was a first level healing word,
First level? Okay.
not a cure wounds. Because that's the only one she can do ranged.
So basically, y'all kind of watch as Python kind of points her finger over towards Angelo from across the hall, and
Angelo has a genuine moment of panic.
you
He's
kind
like,
of
I'm gonna die in this moment. Oh wait,
yeah.
I feel
You
better,
open
actually.
you open that one eye basically as you were expecting death, but you still see kind of Mahi kind of go to the ground, and then right behind you see Python give you the little gun finger and pew, shoot you with like a green beam of energy.
Gold.
But it feels a gold. Where are we changing your?
It's
your
always
healing?
gold. It's always been gold.
Okay, gold is the healing color for Python. So this golden ray of radiant sunshine comes and envelops around you, but it doesn't hurt. You expected pain, but you kind of watch as your wound starts closing up. And it's now Tor's turn.
Like, look at Angelo. Look at Mahi. Look at Angelo. Look at Mahi again.
That's way too many actions.
What?
Free action, look at Angelo.
What?
Bonus action, look at Tavi.
Reaction. Look at. It's one movement. It's a head swivel back and forth. It's
He's
one
just
action. A
looking
head
over
swivel.
all of them.
What? She's. What did you do? Why?
To whom? Who are
Mahi.
you referring?
To Mahi.
Everyone she looked at,
No, Mahi specifically. She doesn't speak until she's looking at Mahi again.
she ends on you. Focuses.
What is wrong with you?
He's still kind of. His eyes are still just unfocused.
You're
Like
actually
he's,
not seeing. You can hear her, but you're not really because your back is to her. So
yeah. Mahi's still just looking at the wall, or like through Angelo. That's all you see. No response.
And with that, then we go to the top of the round with Tavith. And I'd say at this point we can close out of initiative unless Tavith takes a.
Yeah, I want to say something. I just want to say something. That's all.
Okay.
Like, hey, Mr. Sir, when I said you should see his sword, I didn't mean like you get stabbed by it or anything like that.
Pike's gonna. Was that table broken?
Just flipped. He hit the
But-
edge of it and flipped over.
Pike's gonna go over and kind of just put the table back and do like a quick mending on any like chip or like cut he might have put into it.
Because we don't want to get kicked out.
Yeah, you kind of notice that like there some little portion of it is a little splintered off, and so you find kind of the broken piece that's on the ground. You take it and hold it with both of your hands. This golden light shines, and then as you release the hands, it's
Just
carpenter glue.
putting the
Tommy's gonna
chairs
ask-
back.
Tavi's gonna ask Tor something real quick. Tor, do you see that picture over there with the spillage? Can you do something about that? Like, I've seen you do stuff like that before. Liquid or water. Can you put it back in the picture?
Oh my God.
Are you going to drink it?
If you, yes,
No.
if you,
Then no.
I'm gonna share it.
Mm-mm. That's
I'm
not the
gonna-
problem here, sir.
What's the problem?
That it's soaking
What's
into
the problem?
that it's now soaking into the floorboards, and I'm not pulling it out and putting it in the pitcher so you can drink it.
Is there something wrong with it being on the floor?
Yes. I'm a little more concerned, though, about the man on the floor who Mahi just gutted than the pitcher of alcohol.
Is he on the floor?
She just stitched him up. He's
He
okay.
is leaning up against the wall.
That's not how that works. He's better, but we still need to address the fact that happened first. Gotta work on priorities.
Pyth is gonna
Alright,
kind of head over and like stand between Mahi and Angelo and just be like, "So do you two care to explain why there's blood everywhere now?"
No, not really. I'm not gonna put any weight on my right foot. I'm gonna hobble over to a bench. I'm gonna sit.
As he's doing that,
There's
Mahi
no
gets
blood.
up. Say what?
There would have probably been initially blood, I feel like.
I think
Probably.
with that would have cauterized immediately.
Automatically, yeah.
Yep.
Well, good. Then we didn't
Ooh.
make a mess.
Yay!
Not in the
Question
blood
then
yet.
is just why
Yeah.
is his chest gutted?
As Angelo is
He's still
walking,
holding his side though.
He goes for the door, but as he's walking past Angelo, puts his hand on his shoulder and gives him, with lay on hands, 10
A lot of
HP.
clicks.
Here you go, friend.
But he just kind of looks. You have no idea what you just did. And just walks away. He has, by the way, he picked up and he sheathed the sword. And he actually walks out of the tavern. And
As
he's
he's going, Pyth is actually going to call out to him and be like, "Get back here, we're having a conversation about this."
You hear this as you walk out, Mahi. What do you do?
I don't think Toblin wants me here right now.
That's a him problem.
It's gonna be a mean problem when he comes back with the authorities.
Which, by the way, that as you have slightly opened the door and kind of stopped to talk to Pythavin, you look down the street and you do see Toblin with 2 guards walking your direction.
Come back in here and we'll explain ourselves. If you try to run, you'll only make it worse.
Alright. He gets and kind of starts cleaning up any other mess that he made, and then goes and sits down.
Pyth is going to also go over to Angelo and like scowl at him, but still put her hand on his shoulder and do another cure wounds, because that man.
It's perfect.
I want to go to Angelo too. I'd be like,
That's
hey.
Another 8 HP for you.
Nice.
I want to be like, hey. No, I want to be like, hey. My pitcher spilled while I was trying to save you. I'm getting smacked again. Are you gonna cover another round of drinks for me?
No.
At this point, the doors open. And he watches kind of Toblin and two guards enter the room. To their surprise, the guards look a little bit aggravated, and Toblin's like a little. He's definitely was sweating, and as he walks in the room, he kind of stops and notices that everything is kind of put back.
Everything's back to normal and no one's hurt.
Everyone's back to normal, and everyone's sitting around. And everyone's grouped around Angelo at this point. So he's kind of looking. He looks over at Mahi and looks over at the rest of the group, and then he kind of nervously turns to the guard. The guard again is they look super aggravated.
Like, why are we here?
Yeah, and Toblin kind of shrugs, and then he whispers something to the guard. The guard kind of starts to smile a little bit, but then quickly dismisses it, and then nods, and then looks to the other guard. Nothing to see here. Let's go. They both turn and walk out. Toblin kind of slowly walks past you guys. He's kind of eyeing everything.
Toblin.
Kind of just.
Mahi tosses him a little pouch. He's giving him 7 gold.
Okay.
Why is it in a pouch?
That's
You can
For-
hold out for 7 gold.
okay. I give him 7 gold.
As he kind of walks by, you reach out with your claw and drop the coins into his pocket. He kind of watches you do that and kind of nods.
For your trouble, I apologize.
Toblin,
He looks over
Whatever,
to Angelo.
Pite still has her hand on Angelo's shoulder and is kind of just watching him.
whatever consequences you have, I take full responsibility. I gave him no choice.
He shakes his head. Goes, yeah, typical Friday night.
Did you
Just make
hit
sure
him?
No, I did not.
So he just attacked you unprovoked then?
Not unprovoked. It was provoked. And trust
Top-
me,
Top
I
of this
would have
point
attacked
says,
me too.
says, if you all need me, I'll be in the back, but I trust everything's under control now.
Of course.
Okay, nothing seems damaged, so... y'all
Nope. As I
enjoy
like
it.
clutch my side.
Nothing's damaged.
Nothing's damaged.
Kind of huddled behind you, so he's not really getting the fact that you're like legit hurt. And at this point, of course, you've been healed up enough where it's not
Yeah.
super visible. So he kind of nods and he turns and walks towards the back.
Yeah, thing about Mahi though is typically for him to be all crazy psycho. You gotta like
Do not
be in an
blame the
actual
paladin.
fight.
I take
Stop calling
responsibility.
me that.
Do not blame Mahi. It's my fault. Take responsibility. Now, good night. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna walk to my room.
Glad somebody takes responsibility.
Pite just lets her hand drop. Kind of watches Angelo go. And then looks back to Mahi.
He limps and still holds his side.
Expectantly, like,
Yep.
okay, explain yourself, boy.
Mahi's just sitting
Yeah,
at
Pite has an expression like, what the hell, dude?
Mahi's just sitting with his arms on the table, and he's just looking directly at the table. He probably doesn't even notice you looking at him. You can tell he's deep in thought.
Mahi, you can't just kill people. We've excused the whole getting hit in a fight and like
It's
losing
not
your mind a
me.
little bit.
It's not me. And then at this point, he does look up and look at Tor. It's not me.
I didn't suspect that it was.
But the problem is, it is still you. Like, even if it's not you, it's you.
Then what do you expect me to do about it? I have no control over it. And at this point, he unsheathes it and slams it on the table.
Maybe anger management classes or a lifestyle change?
Pite is actually gonna try to, like, reach out and, like, move the sword away from Mahi.
Mahi actually kind of grabs it and brings it a little closer. You see? And kind of like lets go of it and just kind of looks at his hand. I can't even get rid of it. And he just kind of closes his eyes and puts his fist to his head and just kind of,
Pite's gonna look back to Tor and kind of just... I'm sure you and I both know there's more to a curse than just fighting it.
I'm impressed he was able to stop it all, if that's the case.
Yeah. But there's still the problem of the curse is getting worse, and now he just appears to be triggered by... and Tor kind of looks at Mahi. What exactly did trigger you?
it's fuzzy. I don't really remember.
Insight check.
Do it.
I'm gonna insight check him too.
24.
Mine was a 10.
Okay, so Tor, you kind of take his word for it. Python, yeah.
So Mahi does remember, or...
Oh, he does.
Yeah, you clearly know that Mahi
rolled-
knows exactly.
I rolled
what-
a freaking 22 and thought I got away with it.
Ahahaha.
Perish.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just gonna remind you, just because Angelo's the god of perception and insight, I'm still pretty up there.
Yeah,
My
Pyth was
insight
the
is
original.
typically
She's the
better.
OG.
Yeah, you
I
can
have
tell.
a +5
Mahi-
to my insight.
I have a +4.
He
so
knows,
it's not bad. I
but
just
doesn't
rolled
want to
low.
say and doesn't want to talk about it.
Mahi, I'm going to have you explain. Not because I want to pressure you, but because I don't want any more of us to fall into the same pit.
Yeah, you again did just kind of nearly kill somebody.
It's about you. And looks directly at Pyth.
About me.
I'm pretty sure you can guess on what the topic was.
Did the subject make you so angry you had to murder him?
No. He started to question my methods and called me weak for not killing you. And usually, I don't give two flips on what he has to think about me. But for some reason it did. I was angered and bothered. Normally I would have just, he's just a jerk. Who gives a flip of what he thinks, but I don't know. And then I hear these whispers and things in my head. I see red. I see what I'm doing, but it's not me. It's like a dream. You see what's going on in your dream, but you are not in control of yourself. It's like a vision. You're not really there.
Pyth can't relate, has total control in her dreams, talks and walks around as she pleases.
Pyth kind of just. She, like, squints slightly, but nods slowly. Like, she gets what he's saying, even if she doesn't necessarily get the analogy.
He just kind of is just slowly just shaking his head, like still processing.
So anger was enough this time to set the curse off?
From my understanding, although my knowledge on the arcane is not good. I know magic, but I don't know that type of magic. And I kind of gesture to Tor. What I do is different, so this is completely unfamiliar and alien. If you'll excuse me, and Mahi gets up and starts walking out the door.
Are you going out or are you going to your room?
Mahi's actually going out,
Okay.
and he's got. Let me pull up the map. You know where there's that stretch of road between Darren's house and then the actual road? And you said there
Where
was
you
kind
killed
of,
the red brand?
yeah.
Oh, hold
Yeah,
on.
Yes, that one.
Hold on to that. As you get up and you walk towards the doors open, and all of you feel this kind of cold shudder, and you watch as kind of the lights start flickering and dim all around the room. And a shadowy figure emerges from the darkness outside, steps into the dimmed light, and you all see Corlin walking into the tavern.
Oh,
Pyth
great. Wonderful
scoffs.
timing.
He
So dramatic. She sets the
Okay.
lights back to normal.
Okay, go ahead. You can do that. he looks like he's about to raise a finger as he walks in, and then notices as you kind of cast thaumaturgy,
Dermatology.
thaumaturgies, and you rekindle all the candles. He kind of
Like,
looks at your direction
stupid.
and smiles, and he goes, "Typical country inn. I always have a problem with the lighting in these places.
Just a problem with you.
He ignores you and he kind of looks over to the rest of the group. Well.
Mahi
How
just
did-
pushes straight past them. Mahi just kind of does like the shoulder bump.
Mhm.
He just kind of like boom and just keeps walking.
Okay, you go ahead and walk past him. He kind of doesn't even necessarily give you a back glance. He goes, and he starts to focus on Tor. And how does my adventuring group fare this evening?
Is he going to be speaking in normal
I
language
trust
this time?
that you all have been able to find something of import and interest into our mission.
Mahi was there right now.
No.
He looks a little
Day,
disappointed.
you dimwit. Literally saw him like this morning.
He looks disappointed, expecting a different result. He says, "Well, that's a shame. You had all day. I would have hoped with the reputation, especially of my star pupil, that this would have been recovered by now. No, there's still time for tomorrow. I do have word. Might have another lead for you. Where's Angelo?"
Resting.
His room.
Putting his guts back in his stomach.
Oh, he's already gone.
Is he speaking in normal language that I can understand this time?
What?
Is he speaking in
Carly?
common?
Yeah, he's speaking in common.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's not that snobby.
I mean, he could speak Elvish, and then
And we
only
could-
Tor, Pyth, and him would understand.
I mean,
Well,
that
that's
is
right.
all of their first language. That would, like, it wouldn't be too snobby because it's all of their first language.
He understands
Yeah.
where he is currently, so
Yeah.
he's speaking common. Did you want to say something?
Tommy.
Contemplating it.
Contemplate faster.
To say it.
Yeah, he was just here.
He kind of looks at you. He can kind of see, like, in kind of an air where, I mean, and you kind of notice, and you can kind of pick up a little bit as he mostly focuses his attention with Tor. His personality changes a little bit, but to everybody else around, he's very dismissive. I was like, well, I trust that he hopefully has something for me. So it's a shame. I'll have to catch him possibly in the morning. In the meantime, Tor,
Yes.
tell me a little bit about what brings you involved into all of this mess here. I'd like to know a little bit about your adventures from the last time we met.
Does Tavi sigh out loud, or is
Yes.
this Josh sighing?
He is sighing out loud.
And he kind
Leave
of,
and out of the game.
he again does not divert his attention, but he smirks as he hears the sighs. But he's focused on you. He ends up wiggling his fingers, and one of the chairs starts kind of lifting itself up and starts walking towards him. And he grabs the chair, and sits down to the table.
Pyth's just
Regale
pinching the
me.
bridge of her
Tell me.
nose.
Tell me how we have found ourselves in such a place as this.
Tor, who had been like seemingly very nervous from the point that Tavi sighed, by the time the chair like walks its way over, is kind of smiling. A chance of she takes a seat at the table. From what point? Just the Phandalin point, or from when I left Candlekeep?
All of it. I'm interested to hear about your adventures and what has brought you to such a place as this. And I can understand, and he kind of looks at Python, and then he looks back at you and squints his eyes a little bit. Some people, but for you, I'd expected this would be the last place I'd find you. And he laughs and smirks. But then I suppose you probably think the same of me.
Not gonna lie, never really saw you in Phandalin at all.
Trust me. If it was up to me, we wouldn't.
Oh, trust me, if it was up to any of us, Phandalin would not have been the final stop. I was in Neverwinter when we got the job. Bit of a bigger place than this. Actually has literature here and there.
Yes, I'm very familiar with the libraries that never went to the Wizard's Tower there, or while they're reconstructing from the previous catastrophe that they had many years ago. Not quite the level that it once was, but passable. At least much better than this place for sure.
The only books they seem to have here are the ones that Sildar's got behind his desk, and it's not a very wide selection.
That's providing Sildar's even able to read them in the first place, which, given his occupation, possibly.
Probably since he's not actually from Phandalin. I
And the
think
amount
in
of
the town,
paperwork he does.
I think there's like 3 people in town who can actually read.
That may be overstepping. Well then, what have you learned? Show me something. Tell me about... And he kind of nods over to your spell book and looks back over you. Do you have Drippy out at the moment?
Yeah. He's a snake now. Last time Coralyn would have seen him, he would have been a lizard.
He stops and he kind of eyes Drippy, kind of coil around a little bit. Drippy kind of looks up and hisses at him a little bit. It's a little unorthodox for Drippy. You kind of hush him, and Coralyn kind of smiles. He goes, "I see Drippy has changed since the last time. Must be an interesting tale."
Yeah. So we've discovered that familiars are very good scouts and very good at avoiding traps, unlike sometimes we are. And so we were using him to scout around when we were in the Red Brand camp. Well, he went under a door, and apparently they saw him right away because we didn't even see it coming. He didn't even see it coming. He was gone. I think he was gone before the arrow actually hit him.
You kind of watch as you're retelling the story to him, and his smirks are turning to like legit gleeful smiles. He kind of nods in agreement. You get the feeling like he knows exactly what you're talking about.
Like in what way?
He's very interested in the use of familiars.
Familiar. Okay, that's
Insight check. Insight check. I am
Insight check. Do it.
I am insight checking this man. 24.
24.
I accidentally popped my DVD holder out.
Oh my god, gets so excited to insight check Coralyn, destroys the whole computer. Yeah. So it took a while to get him back because components, my word, a lot of money. That's why I took the job in the first place, because I was, even after being with the pirates for those few months, I was low on gold. And so I took the job. I mean, it was just supposed to be a transport job to Phandalin. Didn't think it'd be that hard. And yet, here we are. Anyways, that's why I started. So it took a while to actually get the components. So then when I was bringing him back, I'm like, well, maybe if I gave him a little bit more of a defense, he wouldn't get poofed again. And so that's why I thought snake instead, which has been very useful, actually. And he's an even better scout now. Except for when magic is involved, but that was going to happen whether or not he was a snake or anything else. And because he went, we didn't get discovered, we didn't have to run, we just got to poof him back. So that was great. Yeah. He's been great at being a scout. He's been our little scout.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I know, you're typing.
I handled the insight.
I know.
Did you get a 24 on that?
Yeah.
He rolled a 25.
That's a yes.
Or he rolled like a 23. It's one of the two. You
Or
either
either-
just beat him or just didn't.
Or he rolled low and now has to tell me something he wouldn't have otherwise told me.
He's figuring out how to tell you without spoiling the entire campaign.
Without straight up saying, Coralyn is evil.
He is the BBEG.
Pike's gonna kind of look over the conversation and then be like, Corlin, you should summon your familiar. Have the two of them meet. It would be cute.
As you
Oh,
say,
I wish Mahi would have been able to hear that.
as you say that, he kind of looks at you, and his eyes kind of just give you kind of a little bit of daggers. And he doesn't remove his glance, but he stretches out his hands towards the bar, and you watch as one of the cups starts hovering off the shelf and kind of bob it back and forth like it's being carried, but you can't see what's carrying it. And he takes the cup and smiles, lifts it in your direction, Python, and then drinks. And then sets the cup down and refocuses his attention back to Tor.
Pyth looks to Tor. Wouldn't you like to see his familiar? I'm sure it's been a while.
And he stops and he goes, well, I'm pretty sure Tor's familiar with unseen servants. That's a pretty typical cantrip in my arena.
Tor's like glancing back and forth between the two.
In any case, well, I am glad to see that Drippy is, still Drippy. It is good to know that you have adapted to your environment accordingly. You have definitely picked up the lessons I've taught. Always brings a smile to the teacher's heart when they begin to approach that level of mastery. Though I do suspect that there is some more training involved, I would imagine.
Yeah, I still have a long way to go.
As do we all. Well, I was hoping to catch Angelo to discuss some further endeavors in our ability to uncover the forge. However, with him not being present at the moment, why don't you say that we maybe work on the training? I foresee, if anything, to do with those that are against us, there might be some time to incorporate some strategy.
Yeah.
Okay. Would your friends like to join us? And he kind of looks over at Tavith, ignores the Pyth.
Meanwhile, Tor looks at Pyth.
Interesting. Pyth will remember this. Pyth kind of blinks, and then, like, the corner of her mouth pulls up ever so slightly. She's like, I would love to join.
Of course, sister. It'd be a pleasure to spar with you once more.
I don't recall ever sparring with you, I just remember you showing off.
Well, one of us has to show something.
I was a child, Corbin.
It's good to see that.
I was only 60 years old.
I just hit my 40th birthday. Why are you so mean to me?
71. It was an awkward time.
It's not a thing.
And he ushers the chairs pulled out from behind him, and then slowly places back in its place among the table. And he kind of watches it as it kind of almost hovers a little bit. I mean, his robe is kind of draped over, so you don't really see his feet, but he's looking like he's gliding across the floor as he kind of heads towards the door. And he turns to the rest of you and beckons with his hands. Come along. There are ways that we can do this without, and he kind of looks around the area, without scaring the locals, if you catch my drift. Then he opens the door, or he watches actually as the door opens for him, and he glides out.
Python
Tor
rolls
follows.
her eyes.
Tor follows.
I'm following Tor, and I'm like, Tor, how does he do all this cool stuff?
Magic, Tavith.
Pyth is rubbing her temples, but she's gonna follow Tor as well.
You watch as he walks out, and then he turns towards the main road to the north and starts walking down out. Looks like he's going out of town.
Hold on, I have no idea where this is. Where is...
Which way is he going out of town?
So he would
North.
turn right to the main road. That's
North?
across from the north up.
That's exactly where
Like-
Mahi's headed.
Towards the Tribord Trail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you actually might see Mahi down the road, like,
Exactly.
walking.
Sitting in a depressed little corner.
And you kind of watch as he kind of looks around, and a few guards kind of passes and nods in his direction. As after they pass, and you guys are walking down the middle of the street here. He opens up his hand, and 3 globules of light start swirling around out of the hands and around his head, lighting up his path. Like, come along, all, don't dawdle. And he continues to keep walking towards the north. And meanwhile, Mahi, where have you gone?
Mahi was going to walk and then take a left and then head to that little field and just start. Well, if y'all are going to do something, this is going to be a slightly longer thing, so.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so Mahi walks, takes a left, goes towards the field. It gets in the middle of the field, and takes his sword and stabs it in the ground, straight up and down so you can look at it, and just roars, and it just goes ah!
It kind of echoes out. You kind of look to the side, and you see one of the guards kind of walking up the street with the lantern. He kind of turns towards, and you're in the path towards the Darren's house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this part's not very. I mean, there's no, buildings, of course, on this side of it. This is the end at the outskirt of the town, and you kind of watch it as he kind of.
He did go a little distance because he did want to be alone. Like, he did want to be alone. But,
yeah, you don't see that the guard even necessarily notice you, but you kind of watch as he kind of holds his lantern and kind of swishes it back and forth between the path up and down the road, and then turns back and goes on to his patrol.
Nothing sus about that. Just a normal roar. Just gonna continue on.
Random guard. I don't get paid enough for that. Turns around.
Typical nighttime. All right.
Continue.
Yep, I'll say after a few moments here, you also watch as there's kind of a light flickering that's kind of bouncing shadows off the buildings off in the distance, and you kind of see coming past Barthen's provisions, and you watch as this kind of tall elven person with swirling globes.
Would I know it's Corlin? Like, can I?
I mean, it's a little bit of a scene considering he's got 3 globules of light hovering around his head.
And then the group trailing right behind him.
Right, and then you kind of see a couple of other figures that are trailing up behind. You're watching.
He just looks over and just kind of cocks his head.
The figure stops as it hits the crossroads between the main road, like right in front of Barthen's, and the path that leads to where you are, and he looks over in your direction.
Mahi flips him off. He doesn't think he can see him, but if he can, he's flipping him off. Although he is a decent ways away from that.
Now, what you see in the field portions, some of the wheat is shifting a little bit, like something is moving towards you.
I can't get one moment of peace, and he grabs his sword, and he just readies himself.
You wait a moment. And then all of a sudden you feel something grab your hand, like an actor. It feels like a hand, but you see nothing. And something kind of grabs your hand and starts pulling you down towards the road.
Mahi just turns and spins back and like gets in like almost Obi-Wan pose, just kind of brings his sword out and just kind of takes like a back stance and just turns around and looks. Like what would just pulled me.
You see nothing.
Who's there? Show yourself.
And you kind of feel a tugging on your other arm. And then you kind of watch as you see an arrow in the dirt start drawing towards the other road. It starts forming into an arrow, but you don't see.
Okay, I have my suspicions on what it is. Can I make a Arcana check to see to?
Sure.
Because I would know. I don't think Mahi would necessarily.
Mahi's like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah, me, him. What in the actual heck? Me, unseen servant by a certain jerk.
Do like Tor Pyth see Corlin doing magic?
You stop and you kind of watch as his gaze is kind of focused off into the fields, or not to the field per se, but down towards the road.
13 on the 13 on that Arcana.
You have no idea.
Can we see Mahi here being tormented?
I don't know because
I don't think I can.
Like
Can
honestly,
Pyth
I went
see
a
him?
decent ways away. I'm surprised that Corlin could see because I'm like out in the middle of this field. Like Mahi wanted to be alone and
Tor
not
cannot because she doesn't have dark vision.
I can only see what light is being
But
provided.
I mean, if Corlin can see him,
Yes.
then
You can kind of see Mahi's head above the weave shafts. And you kind of watch as he's kind of spinning around in circles. You're not really sure what he's doing out there.
poor man's.
And you hear Corlin sigh, and then he kind of turns to Tor. Where do you find them?
Him? In a pit?
You don't know who he's talking about.
That's
Oh,
actually
that's
does
right.
make sense.
I wouldn't know who he was talking about.
DM, just to let you know, I don't know how close you. I don't even. Where's the group? Did they turn left on that path? Because if they're at the crossroads, I am out there. Like if they're on the crossroads, I don't personally know how he could see me because I'm like near the words of Sister Grill's. I don't know her name. Home. Like I'm out in the middle of that field.
Garrelly.
Barely.
Garrelly.
Well, on that point, then I'll make that difficult.
So we don't have to retcon. You could just say that only he can see me, just so we can like smooth it along. I'm okay with that. But
Sure.
I'll tell you
my omniscience than he's deserving.
We could just retcon none of that happened.
Yeah.
So basically, my thought is that you weren't that far out. That you were going to be basically by that one house that's right there, that's across from, I guess, the Smith. If you're looking at the map.
Yeah.
Because remember that you guys got chased down some ways. So if you were kind of going to that spot.
Yeah, not necessarily that exact spot. Mahi, his intention was to go out in a place and pray and think and just kind of
He's
do
just
that
trying
thing
to
where
get
you
far away.
walk to himself. Yeah. But I guess we could just say that Pyth and him could see me. I'll retcon myself and just say I didn't go that far. Just
Like,
so we
you
don't
were
have to
you
be
were
like,
going over
"That
there
never
but hadn't
happened."
gotten there yet.
Yeah, we can do that. I was heading that way, but didn't quite get there yet.
At the moment, you're still getting poked by something.
I'm not moving further until you tell me what you are and why you want me to go in that direction. He still has his sword ready, and if he feels another tug, he's swinging in that direction.
He kind of watches as words start forming in the dirt, and it says, move your tail, lizard. And a big exclamation point at the end.
Can Pyth finally just be like, Mahi? At this point, they would have. Because at this point, I'm figuring they would have been stopped for a while, and Pyth.
Yeah.
She's watching Coralyn stare into the distance, and Mahi walk in circles. She's like, what? Mahi, care to join us?
I'm gonna lead over to Pythavan. Maybe that's not the best idea.
Corlin kind of shrugs and looks back at Tor.
Pyth's gonna like lean back over like
Mahi
friend Corlin
says something in Draconic.
I can't hear what Pythavan is actually trying to say to me, which is something that I can understand.
At least Corlin can try to keep a leash on him.
like better that than him wander off into the woods.
Corlin kind of shrugs over to Tor. And she goes, or he goes, your friend doesn't seem to be getting the hint.
At that point, Mahi just says something in Draconic, not loud enough so he could hear, because now he knows. And starts walking in that direction.
Corlin actually goes to meet you. He starts walking down that road.
Mahi looks, squints. Was that you?
At this point, he gets past you and basically walks past you.
He calls
doesn't
him
even look in your direction. Mahi, you're kind of just standing on the side of the road, kind of like a hitchhiker, watching Corlin pass, and then Tor and Pyth behind.
And Tavi.
And Tavi.
And Tavi. Sorry about that.
Don't forget,
Tavi.
we got the big guy.
I forget that you play this game.
Mahi does an incredibly sarcastic salute. Like, not in like a full stance salute, but just kind of does his two fingers. See ya. And then he says in Draconic, bark sniffer. And he goes back into his field.
And at which point, something punches you in the leg.
Mahi just goes...
And you kind of watch as there's like almost a visual poof of dust as it happens. And you kind of see Corlin snap his fingers, but he continues to keep walking. It coincides with the snapping of fingers.
Pixie.
You feel a little bit of a breeze, and then nothing.
Pixie. And walks back to his field.
At which point you kind of turn and you see the rest of them. Corlin gets about halfway to that middle section that you're kind of referring to earlier, and then stops and then looks around and turns to the rest of the group. I believe we're probably far enough here that are going to freak out the locals.
He's now intrigued.
And he kind of watches, he stoops down and starts drawing kind of a big circle into the road.
Mahi slowly approaches.
Tor watches with great interest.
He gets
Mahi's a
halfway
dog.
to the circle, and he kind of sighs and he stands up again, snaps his fingers, and then you watch as a couple of footprints go into the road near the circle, and you watch as other symbols start drawing themselves into the dirt around the circle.
Lazy Fang can't even do his own spells.
And
It's not laziness, he's showing off.
Yeah, he takes a step back and he kind of watches and folds his arms.
Beth rolls her eyes again.
As the circle completes itself, you look to see it's kind of an arcane circle with multiple symbols surrounding the circle itself. Tor, if you wanted to make a Arcana check on this.
Yes.
I also want an Arcana check, just
Go ahead.
because I can.
24.
24. Excellent.
8. Pyth did not pay attention that day that she learned this.
I mean, you obviously physically see this, but you're not really putting two and two together, and you just think he is, scribbling in the dirt and making a show of something, but you're not really sure the connection yet.
I was like, it's some sort of spell. I don't know.
Specifically, this is teleporting circle. And with your keen mind, I would say that you will log that for a future reference for whenever you have a chance to redraw a sigil.
Yes.
Holy crap. Might need to watch my insult if he can do teleportation. Holy crap.
Tor looks absolutely thrilled.
So
grinning ear to ear.
You take note of the placements of the symbols accordingly so that you can remember it for future reference. As he finishes, he waves his hands over it and then snaps his fingers and a staff appears in his left hand. He taps the ground in the center and a bluish light shines out and permeates from the outside in until the full circle is full of this light. It beams out like almost like a searchlight into the sky, and then briefly starts to coalesce into a swirling vortex portal that appears in the center of the circle. He turns to the rest of you, and it goes, "Follow me," and he walks into the portal.
What?
Tor follows.
You briefly hear as he enters, "Don't dawdle," and he disappears.
Tor follows immediately.
I'm probably just running.
The opposite way or
Away?
towards
No,
it?
into it.
Yes!
You kind of
Flowing
watch
all of light.
Tommy kind of pushes Pyth out of the way and dives into the portal.
Get to do magic, and it fades away.
Tommy multi-classes into wizard from this point on.
Right.
Mahi, you're a little bit further out, and of course you see this, and Python, you're now standing.
I'm gonna step through the portal.
You kind of slowly
Kind of glance back at Mahi and like wave a hand, just kind of like a well, and then go through the portal.
Look at Angelo.
Oh, no. Sorry, Angelo.
I know, I feel so bad. Preston never gets to roleplay anymore.
Well, he did get a lot of roleplay in today. He's
He's already on the other side.
Unfortunately, he stepped away at the wrong moment. It's just as well. This is more relevant for you guys anyway. All right. Do we want to take a break here real quick?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
I need to use the loo and get me a snack.
Recording break.